Fine, guys. So let's start. So in the last class, we have seen interacting with the databases, right? So how you can uh, interact with SQLite, okay, using the library SQLite 3, and we have also seen how to create a table, right? Insert some records, use some commands, right? So now let's see some more functions. So as I said in the other class that so now we are going to see some very specific functions that we are going to use in our day-to-day life, mainly in the pandas section. Okay, so let's start, guys. So if you see here, fundamentally in pandas, okay, in pandas you have something called as series, okay, and something called as data frame, okay, and there is also something called as panel, but this is removed in these versions, okay, so you don't need to worry about this. Okay, so mainly you have some two things, series and data frame. Okay, so series is, you can say, it's a one-dimensional data, panda series. Okay, and data frame is a two-dimensional data. So this one-dimensional data is almost similar to NumPy array. Okay, because NumPy is array, one-dimensional NumPy array. Okay, so it is similar to panda series, and data frame is a table which we have seen CSV, usual CSV. So that will come under the two-dimensional data, which is a data frame. And the most famous one is a data frame. Okay, so we will see that. So over here, if you see, we are having a numpy array, np dot array abcd. Okay, so if you want to convert that into panda series, just say pd dot series of data. Okay, and when you see, this is your abcd, and the type is, now it's not array, but it is a panda series. Okay, it's a panda series. Fine. So it's a one-dimensional data in the pandas. Now over here, if you see, for example, now what I'm saying, pd.read CSV, I'm reading a Titanic dataset. Okay. So now this Titanic dataset, so once I read this, so for example, when I'm reading this, now this, if I say, yeah, over here, if you see, this is pandas.co.frame.data frame. So it's a pandas data frame. Okay. So there's a two-dimensional data set, it will have rows and its columns. Fine. So this is a pandas data frame. Okay, fine. So now today class, let's see different functions, how you can manipulate the given data frame. Okay, first thing is, anyhow, you're familiar that how to read a data frame, CSV. Fine. So after that, tail will give you the last end. Okay, and head will give you the top. This is the number, you can specify how many records you want. Okay, that's also fine. Data dynamic train with data types. Okay, so that will be, this will give you what, this will give you the data types of the given data set. Okay, so for example, over here, if you see, passenger survived P class. Okay, so all these are integers, that's why you see them as integer. Okay, and the name is, it's a string, so it's an object. Okay, and sex is male or female, that is also an object. And age is, this is a float number. Agree, so that is a float. Okay, so mainly you will have these three things: integer, object, and float. Same thing, this will be integer, object, float. Okay, object. Okay, so these are the different data types which you can provide d types. Okay, so just observe the functions. Okay, how, what we are using. So this is a head. Okay, this is a d types. Fine. So once that is done, so over here, if you see, This is the object. Hey, just give me a second. This I'm getting Karthik is calling. 1 second. Yes. So Sirisha is asking a question. So what is the difference between normal data frame and pandas data frame? So what do you mean by normal data frame? Siri, if you have data frame, it will be a pandas data frame only, right?
NumPy also we used the data frame as
In NumPy, we use data frame. We used array, we used matrix. Did we use data frame?
Is data frame means only pandas only, sir.
Yes. Meghana, did we use data frame in NumPy?
Not in NumPy, sir. In we used in our language, so we asked, sir.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm also just checking. No, see, data frame will be in pandas. So apart from that, using Python, only Python, you can import Excel file. Okay. So in Python only, you will have some files, some libraries for libraries like Excel. Okay. Excel, write, or something you will have. Okay. So using that, you can just import your Excel file. Okay. But that will not be a pandas data frame. That means what you cannot apply all these functions like d types, head. So all these are not applicable. Okay. So these are simple basic Python libraries we have uh, to access read and write Excel files. That is there. Okay, but it will have very limited number of options. Okay. So what data frame means, it will be the pandas data frame, say.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's see over here. So now over here, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm saying data types equal to object. Okay, so observe here. So I'm saying I'm just filtering from all these data types only where the data type equal to object. Okay, and that objects I'm considering that as a index. Okay, and in those index I'm using the describe. Okay, so I'll break this down. Okay, so first of all, we'll see what does describe will do. Okay, so what does describe will do, so that you will have an understand. First of all, if you go and see here, Titanic train is our data set. Okay, so dot describe, if you see, it will actually describe regarding each and every column, guys. Okay, so all these are fundamental basic functions which you are studying. Okay, so first, if you see the describe, what it will do for each and every column, it is going to give you these many details like count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25, 50, 75 percentile. You know percentiles, right? And the maximum value. Okay, so this from minimum to maximum, this can help you getting what box plots. Okay, so minimum 25 percentile, and what is 50 percentile is also called as, guys, can I expect this one? What is 50% also called?
Means
Median.
Yeah, perfect.
median.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's a median. So directly from here only, you can see the median also. So passenger ID surveyed. So all these columns, this is a median and maximum value, everything. So if you see the importance of these functions are just with one single word. Okay. So one single describe, it is giving you so much details. Okay. Just by looking at this, you can get some basic idea about each and every column, isn't it? If it is in Excel, so for example, this is a data set. So over here, obviously you can see, but how much information you can understand just by looking at it? Okay, nothing, right? Very little. So over here, just using this one simple function, you can get an idea that what is this passenger ID. Okay, you can understand that the minimum value is 1. Okay, maximum is 156. So at least you will know what is the range you are working with. Okay, and what is this 50 percentile is 78. That means what 50 percentage of the values are less than 78. So that means what the overall range is the minimum value is 1 and the maximum value is 156. Okay, and median is 78. Okay, 78%. That means what 50 percentage of the values are falling over here, 50 percentage. Okay, and remaining 50 percentage are falling over here. Okay, remaining percentage are falling over here. Fine. And 50 percentage means what? Overall count is 156. So what is 152 half? 78. So 78 values are falling over here, and 78 values are falling over here. Okay, so 78 values are less than 78 and 78 values are greater than 78. Okay, so this much idea you can get, obviously. Okay, and also standard deviation. So if you want some more, so if you draw the distribution, so the standard deviation is 45. Fine. And regarding the survived also, if you see the minimum value is 0 but maximum value is 1. Okay, so that means you can understand that this is a numerical value, but this is kind of categorical value. Okay, so that means what minimum value is 0, maximum value is 1, and there are total 156 values. So what does that mean? Total 156 values. Okay, minimum value is 0, maximum is 1. Okay, and if you see, that means what, there are only these two numbers that is repeating. It means that, right, there are no other numbers, minimum 0, maximum 1 and 156 value. So that means these numbers only repeating. So this is kind of a categorical value which is in the numerical form. Fine. Similarly, P class, age. So using all this, you will get a basic understanding of the different columns. Okay, so is this clear, guys? Are you able to understand the importance of describe function? Okay, fine. So but one thing if you observe, so overall, how many columns we have, guys? So these are the columns we have. Agree? But if you see, there are only limited columns shown in the describe function. Okay. Why? Because describe function by default will consider only integer or float values, guys. Okay. Integer or float values. See, all these are on either integer or float from here. Okay. From here, all these are either integer or float. Total how many are there, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 integer or float values are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. So describe will by default will consider only integer values. Okay. Is that clear, guys? Are you guys getting? Okay. So, but that's the reason. Now I will come to this. That's the reason what I'm doing over here. I'm specifically considering the object data types. Okay. Because by default, it will take only int or float. So, but over here, I'm taking only data types equal to object. Okay. So now this object, okay, this objects I am over here, what I'm doing from data types. Okay. So from data types, I am considering wherever the data type is equal to object. Okay, and that index I'm taking. Okay, and using that I'm doing the describe. Fine. So over here, if you see the step by step, see the first step will give you, I'm here I'm checking. So wherever my data type is equal to object, so double equal to means I'm checking. Fine. So over here, name, sex, ticket, cabin, embarked. Okay, so name, sex, ticket, cabin, embark. These 5 are the places where my data type is called object. So that will be true. Okay, so and that now that what I'm doing, I'm putting it in the data types. Okay, so now see the second function. So first function is, this is the Boolean function. Okay, this is a Boolean function that I am putting in the data types again. That means what? Only wherever this is true, that will be extracted. Okay, see, I got only those number of those only object data types I got. Okay, how did you get? First, I have equated it to object, and next I have put it in the data types itself. Okay, so wherever it is true, only that will be considered. Okay, and now if I take the index of this, okay, so these are the values I got. Okay, how did I get this? See guys, now over here, if you see, this is these are the index and these are the values. Okay, so name, object, fine. So these are the index. So that's why I'm saying when you do dot index, it will give you the index. I'm taking only index, so it will give index in the form of list. Okay, so in other words, what did I achieve? I am able to get the list of object data types in a list. Okay, so this list where I am putting in the now data train. Okay, so this list, in other sense, I am selecting multiple columns, guys. Understanding how you will like access multiple columns the other day. If df is a data frame, so to access single column or multiple columns, we use double quotes, right? So over here, column 1, column 2, we do this. Okay, this is the way how we did, right? So if I just show over here, yeah, so if you see, to how to access multiple columns, so df and double parenthesis. Okay, to access multiple. Same thing over here also. If you do, I want this, so how did I get that? So in the data train, in parenthesis, I'm passing a. Now what is a is my this. What is this is my this. Okay, so this is the list of columns I got, so that list I'm passing over here to a. Okay, so that means if you see here, yeah, so when I pass this list to my data frame, what I got name, these columns, the object related columns I got. Okay, so that columns, when I say describe, okay, so over here it is giving me its count, unique, top, frequency. Okay, because for this columns, like for this object, that means string columns, you will not have percentiles, mathematical calculations you cannot do, right? So that's why it will give you the count you can take, the unique you can take, the top you can take, and the frequency you can take. Okay, so that's how you can consider the describe for the object. But understand like how you are using this, these are important, guys. Okay, so initially you might find it a little bit okay, lengthy, or little bit I would say new sort of thing how you are using these functions, but over the period of time you will get comfortable, guys. Okay, you just need to have some practice, that is for sure. But in also you should have the requirement in your mind. That means, see, I want these columns. So obviously for any data frame, just as I shown, this is how you can access the columns, multiple columns. Okay, so that means what, in df of parenthesis, I need to give something. This something will be my list of columns. That is my goal. How I'm going to achieve that? The list of columns should be my object related columns. So first I will, from data types, I am equating it to object. Whatever I'm getting, right? So the Boolean, so I am putting in the again data types. Okay, so once you put in data types and take index, now this is going to give you the list of the object columns. that columns I'm putting over here. That's it. Okay. Is this clear, guys? Did you guys get this? These are small functions, but since these are first classes, since we're learning pandas, right? So I'm spending some time to, understand each line. So let me know if this is clear. Or shall I repeat? Yes. Okay. Great. Fine. So describe is that. Fine. So same thing. So over here, as you can see, when I'm equating to object, I'm taking the index, I'm getting that same thing. Okay. Now coming to, yeah, so you're equating to index and getting the describe function. Fine. Fine. So same thing you can also now just think of, I can equate this to integer also. Fine. So I can also equate to that integer also. Mm, what was int 64, right? Okay, no, it's not int 64. Yeah. So I got only integer columns. You see, passengers survived P class SIB park. Okay. So see, what are my integer? Passengers survived P class SIB park. Fine. So now what are float? Age is float and fare is float. Only two floats. Fine. So if I just equate that to float 64, I'll get 2. Okay. Age and fare. Got it? So we'll have int, float, and object. 3 data types. You can equate for only ones that specific columns. Okay. Fine. So yeah, so after that, so this is the way how you can access multiple columns, the given data frame, as we have already seen. Fine. So for example, if you see here, yeah, I'll show you. Over here, if you see here, as I was explaining, so when you take this age column, guys, okay, when you take it only age column, okay, so when you put it over here, okay, so over here, if you see this age column, if you take it in single parenthesis, okay, so that is pandas.core.series. Fine. And when you put it in the double, it will consider it as a data frame. Are you trying to observe the difference? Okay. So single column, if you take it in like single parenthesis, it will consider it as a series. Okay, it's a type of numpy array like series. Fine. But if you take it in double, it will consider it as a data frame. Fine. And if you want to apply, any functions, pandas related functions, data frame related functions, you should take it as a data frame. Okay, you should take it as a data frame. Fine. So if I say, if there is some, there are some specific pandas data frame related functions, right? So that will not be applicable to this. Okay, I'll show you when it comes. Okay, I'll show you. There will be some specific pandas data frame functions which will work only for the data frame. It will not work for the series. Okay, but mostly you should be taking the columns in the data frame base. Okay, so for that you need to take this as a double quotes. Okay, so now what is this data frame? So when I'm saying, like for example, if I take name and age, okay, when I'm taking name and age, so when it is saying data frame, that means this is also now a table. Okay, this is also a data set, subset of data set. Okay, so which is having only two columns. Fine. So just like how you're having this Titanic Excel, so I have created one more Excel kind of thing inside this notebook with only two columns. Okay, so that is also a data frame. Okay, fine. So after that, let's move on. Yeah, so there will be different functions. For example, if you see over here, so I'm taking Titanic from this my data frame. I'm considering name. Okay, I'm considering name, and I am sorting it. Fine. And after sorting, what I'm doing, I'm taking this slicing. Okay, so what does this mean? Fine. So for example, if you go with okay, so over here, if you take for example age, okay, so this age column, fine, this age column I'm initially sorting, and after sorting I'm taking this. Okay, so for example, if I just show you the age column, sorted age, fine. So sorted age is this column. Fine. So first of all, I will show you, instead of directly showing this, I'll show you. So I can take some values also, like uh from 0 to from 6. Okay. So 0 to 6 means what will take? 0 to 5 slicing. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the values I got. Okay. Simple, the basic slicing. Fine. So the same thing earlier, what I was taking. So 5 to 10. That means what? From 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, from here to 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 means till 9 it will take. Okay, till 9 it will take. At a step of 2, that means what? 8, 14, 15 will be getting. Okay, 8, 14, 15. Clear, guys? Is this clear? Hmm. Okay, so I'll take that as yes. Fine. So similarly, you can also do it for other also. For example, if you take for name, okay. So name, it is an alphabetical thing, so it will be sorted in the alphabetical order. Okay. So as you can see, starts with A, B, B, something like this. Okay. Now in this list, now this became a list. Okay. So once you have list, you can do any slicing. Okay. Same thing also, you're taking 5 into any values you can take. Okay. So this is how you can access a single column, and you can also sort that. Okay. So and then what? Yeah. So taking the first 15 values. And same thing, the describe only single column if you want to describe. Okay, and also now here what we're doing, Titanic ticket column. Okay, you're taking the data frame and you're taking from 4 to 9. Fine, that means what, you're taking only 4 to 9 rows. From 4 to 8 you will get. Okay, or this Titanic ticket, so this is having all the rows. Okay, from here, but if you take only 4 to 9 you will get 4 to 8. Okay, this is also slicing the column. Again, the same thing, describe part. Okay, yeah. So over here, if you see, you have something called as how you can create a new column. Okay, so I think we have already seen similar sort of thing in the NumPy, but over here in the data frame also, you can pandas data frame also you can do. So I'm creating a new column. Okay, and over there you can give some value, so a new column will be created. Okay, so for example here, if you see, okay, I'm creating, okay, a new column called as AI. Okay, so over here I'll give meet AI. Okay, see here, a new column is created whose name is AI, and the whole values are meet AI. Okay, so this is how simply you can create a new column and assign the value. Okay, guys, following. And if you are not aware, shape is a simple by pandas function. It will give you the number of rows and number of columns. Okay, so over here earlier you will used to have 12 columns. Okay, but since I have created one more column, now it has become AI 13 columns. Okay, fine. So after that, cabin, how to access. Okay, and also you will have drop. For example, say I've created this column, but I don't want that column. Okay, I want to drop this. Okay, and if you also want to get the columns of this pandas data frame, so what is this? So you need to do data frame dot columns. Okay, now I got the list of columns. Okay, I got the list of columns. Fine. So over here, now since you have the list, guys, since you have the list, you can also use indexing from this list so that you can access only specific columns. Okay, you can access only specific columns, because are you getting? So these are just lists, so you can play with this. So for example, I can say what I can say 0 comma sorry 0 is to 3, I can say, right? Fine. So 0 is to 3, only these three columns I got. So now to train, okay, to train, if you put only these three, you get only those three. Fine. So from columns also you can slice and you can extract sub data frames. Okay, but columns, how you get the columns of given data frame? That is dot column, simple. So now I created this AI. Okay, but I don't want this AI. That's a sample column I have created. So what you can do, you can just say Titanic drop dot drop. Okay, and you can say AI. Okay, it will give an error, I think. Yeah, because over here you need to mention the axis. Okay, so where you need to create, so if I say axis equal to 1, so it will work. Okay, so I usually axis equal to 0 means it is searching in the rows in the index, it is searching. So where is AI over here in the index? Okay, so that's why I'm saying, hey, search in the columns, axis equal to 1. So then it will search in the columns, it will find AI. Okay, so now it has dropped. Okay, so now it has dropped. Fine, you cannot see AI. Agree? So now if I run this, these columns again, okay. Oh, how many I will get, guys? So earlier it was 13, right? So now if I run, how many I will get? Guys, 12. Okay, so we'll see. So if I run this, you still have the AI. Are you able to see? When I run this, when I do this, why? I've dropped it, right? Clearly you can see data set dot drop. So since you are giving thumbs, but why Titanic dot drop? I'm saying I clearly dropped the AI. After dropping, when I say columns, right? When I say columns, I should not see the AI, because is there any AI over here? No, AI column is not there. Stopped at the embark. But still, when I say columns, I'm able to see AI. But here I'm clearly dropping. Did you see the issue, guys? At least are you able to understand the issue?
So
Yeah. So that is because when you're doing this right, okay, the changes are not reflecting to the actual data frame. This is just, it is showing the result of this command. This is very, very important, guys. Many places,
sure.
for
Okay.
many functions, you will come across a similar situation. you will think that this is my data frame. I'm dropping the column, and once you drop the column, it is clearly showing the table as this only. There is no AI. So obviously it is very much correct to think, okay, so very much not correct, very much possible to think that this is the our new data frame. Okay, yeah, correct, Srisha, the shallow copy scenario, yeah. Okay, so but the changes, but this is not your actual data frame. This is just the output of this command. Okay, so it is saying, I'm asking, if I drop this AI column, how will my data frame look like? Okay, that is actually what's happening over here. So it is saying, if you drop AI, this is how your data frame look like. But the original data frame did not change. It is still this. Okay, the original data frame did not change. It is still this. Okay, this is just the output of this command, guys. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but how to make changes to our actual data frame? There are two ways, guys. Observe it carefully. So this I'm saying, this is the output. So if you want, you can just create a new data frame, by some name. Okay, let's say new df. I'm saying this one. Okay, sorry, this one. So whatever the output you are getting after this command, that is this. This is correct, but this is not getting, changes are not getting reflected on our actual data frame. Okay, so what you can do, you can just put this order the output into new data frame. Okay, so now this new data frame, if I just do head, okay, so over here you can see only embarked, there is no AI column. Okay, so you can use a new data frame, fine. But if you say, sir, I don't want to go for a new data frame, why I should create some, waste some more memory, I want the changes to be reflecting on the same data frame in the same Titanic. Okay, so then you will have some command called as drop. Okay, so give me a second. Drop equal to true, I think. In place, sorry, it's not drop. Yeah, in place equal to true. Okay, you see this function in place equal to true. By default, it will be false. Okay, but if you put it as true, that means what I'm saying, in place, that means should I make the changes actually on the data frame? That if you put as true, then what is happening, you know, then the changes are actually reflecting on the data frame. And now if you go over here, so the AI, so if I run this, you'll not see the AI, because you have actually made the changes on the actual data frame. So that's why it is not giving the output also. If you see, this is a function which made some changes on the data frame, so it is not giving the resultant data frame. Earlier when I was doing only this till access equal to 1, so it is just you're not making changes to the data frame. Okay, so we are just looking at the output of this command, so it is giving you the resultant data frame, but that changes are not reflecting the original data frame. If you want the original data frame should be affected, you can use in frame equal to true, so that every change now you make will actually affect the actual original data frame. Okay, so two ways. So if you want to make some changes, so you can use a new data frame. Okay, or you can go with the in place equal to true, depending upon your requirement, guys. It both will have its positive and negative, because so if you're creating new data frame, so every time you need to create new data frame. Okay, if you're having 10 functions, 10 like drop, again filter, again somewhere, so you if you're creating, you're using 10 different functions, so every time you can create this new df. Okay, so or if you don't want that, you can everywhere you will have this in place equal to true, so that your actual data frame will be affected every time. Okay, so usually the best way what you can do here is, so whenever you create but the problem here is, see, what the problem here is in place equal to true, fine, so that your actual data frame will be changed, affected every time. And in later point of time, if you want to look at the original data frame, that will not be available because that is constantly changing throughout the process. Fine. So the best way is, first of all, what we will do, this data frame, whatever you are getting, so you will create a copy and you will say same thing, shallow copy and deep copy, right? So if I just do this, okay, now this will become a shallow copy. Okay, so that's why I will say dot copy. Okay, dot copy. If I say, that will create a copy of my data frame. Okay, it will have the same shape and columns. Okay, so this copy is my copy of my data frame. Okay, so now, and this is a deep copy, so now I can do play whatever I want over this data frame. Okay, so but my original Titanic copy, so Titanic train is safe. Okay, I'm not touching that, so I'm doing this copy. So in case if I do some mistakes on this data frame, because I'm doing in place equal to true, right? So on this copy data frame, I can do in place equal to true, and the actual changes will be happening. But let's say I made some wrong changes. So if I want to go back, so anyhow, I already have a copy of my original data set, which is my trainer copy. Can come back, I can just execute this line again, so that it will again create a new copy of this. It will have to again create a new fresh data set of this train copy. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Okay, so these are very important functions, guys. It might look small, but these are very, very handy. You will know once you start in our next model, like feature engineering or EDA, mostly in EDA, exploratory data analysis. These are very, very small but important, very handy. Okay, so I'm saying just see the functions. Data set is just an example. Okay, so you can apply this to any different data set, but just get familiar with the small functions like head, shape, describe. Okay, how I'm access multiple columns, how I'm copying. Okay, so and how I'm taking the column names. Okay, how I'm mostly you will use this for sure. Even today in my like actual project work also, I use this every day. Okay, so these are that common. Okay, so how I'm dropping the columns and what is the difference. See, so like usually the scenario which we discussed, right? So whenever you run a function, right, so it usually gives the output of that function. That does not mean your actual data set is changing. Okay, that you should be careful. Okay, so if you're getting doubt, right, so just go and see the columns of your original data frame, so whether the changes are actually happening or not. Okay, so make sure if you want, you should use in place equal to true, so that your actual data set will also change. Okay, and access equal to 1. Okay, because when you are dropping, you should mention the access, so where I should search for. Okay, so this is a column, and also you can draw multiple columns also. Okay, so that hands-on you can do. I will share this notebook. I also already shared the notebook, right? So you can try like dropping multiple columns. Okay, so that's about that. Okay, and after that you have something called as train data cabins. Same thing, cabins column I'm taking 0 to 15. Okay, and data types, cool. This is Titanic data survived. Okay, survived column I'm just checking. Okay, and columns describe same thing over here. Okay, and yeah, so after that you have something called as categorical and unique. So do you guys have college today? Are you guys going to college?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine then. I would say okay, fine. So let me just stop the recording.